Tucked inside President Trump's record $4.7 trillion budget proposal is a request for more than $8 billion to build the border wall.
Yeah, the request comes days before Senate Republicans white-knuckle their way through a vote on his emergency declaration. So what's it going to take for the president to get support from his own party on this?
Here to discuss is Lauren Claffey, former Deputy Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs at the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at this breakdown real quick and get your reaction. And it includes an additional $8.6 billion for the wall. $5 billion would come from Congress, $3.6 billion from the military, and that would complete more than 722 miles of the wall, part of, as we mentioned, that $4.7 trillion budget plan. Some people calling this dead on arrival. What do you say?
I think that every budget, unfortunately, is usually dead on arrival, especially when there's a competing party in Congress. Listen, these are great negotiating positions. It lays out, every budget every year lays out the priority of the president that's in power, and so this is no different. And it gives the administration a position to negotiate with as we kick off the congressional budget process with the appropriators, the authority, the authorizers, everyone else. So, I mean, I think that he had to go big, right? He had to make a statement that border security is a big priority of his. So that's not surprising that he went with that number. And also, we've seen numbers as high as $20 billion, that's what he wants in order to build the wall. And so this is actually more reasonable, I think, as a first pass for this year's budget process.
The last time that he did a fight over the budget was the shutdown. That didn't end well for him. He only got 1.3 or something like that. He's declaring this national emergency. Why not just put the full boat into that? I mean, he wants what, $8 billion more now. Why not just get it all at the same time?
Yeah, so I think because the national emergency is not as politically popular as going through Congress, unfortunately. So there is a degree of which they have to, in good faith, negotiate with Congress on each of these priorities. And the budget, the border wall being no different. So for President Trump, there is the national emergency. He can go through that process. He can move funds around as he sees a need because we are in such dire straits on the border right now. But if he can get the will of the people through Congress to support this border wall and have the funding that way, it's going to be better for him in a political sense, because he's not going to have Republican senators trying to break away and vote on a resolution of disapproval and other things, right? Get everybody on board, have everybody support this wall. It should be a no nonsense vote for them, and that's what he's seeking to achieve.
Well, yeah, but I guess the question is, how does he make sure he gets everybody on board, especially those from his party?
Yeah, I think it's what the administration has been trying to do, and just not as successfully as I would hope. It's communicating the real need of not only physical barrier at the wall, but also surveillance technology, additional border agents, all of these things that the frontline operators have told us time and time again that they need in order to secure the border. And there has been a spike in illegal immigration on the southern border. That should not be disputed, although it time and again is somehow not talked about in the media in the same way that our CBP officers are seeing it. But there is a need there for him to communicate that more fully, show people what's going on the border, and really build consensus around it. And honestly, at least what I saw when we were working on this issue in Congress, I mean, a lot of the time you just got to grab people and take them down to the border and physically show them the people coming across. And it's really the only way to convince their mind.
All right, let's flip to entitlement, welfare reform. The president has some ideas here for his proposed budget that might make a lot of conservatives happy. We can bring up some of the bullet points here. You're talking about basically requiring people that want to take food stamps, Medicaid, federal housing, to work, or at least try to work, or to do community service, to contribute in some way to get that money, to get those services. What do you think about this, and what chance does it have making it into the final budget?
I don't think that this actually has a lot of possibility of working its way into the final budget. I mean, welfare programs are there for those who need that. It's, I think, a great statement to say that everyone in America needs to work towards the American dream, and that we're not going to be a welfare state. But especially in a divided Congress, I think this is probably not going to go anywhere. That being said, once again, it's a starting point. It's a negotiating point. And I think it speaks loudly to this administration's priorities on reforming a lot of our entitlement systems and making sure that they last into the generations to come.
All right.
Okay.
Lauren Claffey, thank you.
Thank you.